but I don't think it's going to be a shootout like last year's Week 3 matchup. I think this is going to be a defensive battle, and the Texans are going to come out on the winning end of this thing. Just looking at that group, if everybody is healthy, they can make life a little hard for Tom Brady. And the Patriots, they don't always get out to the best of starts. 2-2 in the last 4 seasons. 2-2 starts 2 of the last 4 seasons. So, if you're going to get the Patriots, the month of September is the time to do it. So I'm rolling with the Texans.
I'd be thrilled if Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans start off 1-0, but I got to go with New England. They're 7-point favorites for a reason. They have the worst offensive line in football. I think over the course of the year, they'll figure out ways to make do. But we know Lamar Miller's not an effective runner. He can catch the ball a little bit. But when you're playing the Patriots and they know if we take away DeAndre Hopkins, what can you really do aside from throw deep to Will Fuller? I think the Pats will be able to take advantage of those situations. For those reasons, I'm going to go with the home favorite, New England. I might take the Texans plus the points, but straight to win, I'd go New England.
All right, moving on to the Jaguars. Now heading to MetLife to take on the Giants. All eyes will be on the Jalen Ramsey, Odell Beckham Jr. matchup, which will be a must-watch 1 o'clock game on Fox. Shameless plug. So who wins, Jags or Giants? Nick, take your pick.
The Giants. The Jags start off 0-2, maybe 0-3 this year, and the route not making it back to the playoffs.
Wow.
Yeah, more on them later. I think that the Giants are just flatly better than Jacksonville. I understand there are concerns about how they're going to block the Jacksonville front, but everywhere else I like this Giants team more, and I do not see how Jacksonville's going to score on anyone this year aside from trying to run Leonard Fournette 30 times a game. I like the Giants to pull the upset.
Well, here's what's going to have to happen. The Jacksonville Jaguars defense is going to have to create field position and more possessions for their offense. I don't trust Blake Bortles as far as I can see him. I depend on that offensive line, which they upgraded, brought in Andrew Norwell from the Carolina Panthers. They made their strength even stronger. The running game, defense, creating turnovers. This Giants team is a big question mark. We really don't know what this group has to offer. They haven't been whole the entire preseason. Be interested to see what this team looks like on Sunday.
So you're going with the Jags, it sounds
I'm going with the Jags.
Yeah, okay.
All right, next up, Seahawks heading into Mile High to take on the Broncos. Russell Wilson will be tested early against a tough Broncos defense, and Case Keenum will make his Denver debut. So who wins, Seahawks or Broncos? Chris, take the pick.
I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos, and I'm looking at the defense. This is going to be on those guys. They played well last year, even though they didn't get the wins to show for it. But I think with Case Keenum being as that quarterback, the offensive line being much improved, I think the Denver Broncos get it done at home this weekend.
Listen, I do not think Denver's equipped to win more than 5 or 6 games this year. I think Seattle is a mediocre NFC team, but if Seattle were in the AFC, I'd have them in the playoffs. I know Seattle has struggled on the road, but they still have Russell Wilson. They still have Pete Carroll. I wouldn't expect Earl Thomas to be a factor this week, but they still have, in totality, Earl Thomas. I think Seattle wins. This is a line that surprised me to see Denver as a full 3-point favorite when I thought this would be more of a pick'em. I think Seattle goes on the road in a tough environment, beats up Case Keenum. He looks more like the old Case Keenum than last year's Case Keenum, and Seattle gets the win.
Did we disagree on all of those?
Well, I think they had us pick every game, and then they decided we were going to talk about the ones we had some disagreement on. That's my guess how this worked.
Next up is the AFC West matchup. Chiefs-Chargers. Patrick Mahomes will take over the reins for Kansas City, while the Bolts will rely on Phillip Rivers in his 15th season. So who wins, Chiefs or Chargers? Nick, take your pick.
Everyone's got to pump their brakes on this Charger hype. My pal Shannon Sharp has him in the Super Bowl. Everyone's already just giving him the AFC West. This team ain't won double-digit games since 2008. Calm down on the Los Angeles Charger hype, San Diego Charger hype. Enough. The Chiefs, on the other hand, might have the best offense in the entire NFL, and we don't know if Joey Bosa's going to play. No. Chiefs.
What's the line? What's the line in this game?
The line in this game is, San Diego by 3.5.
Let me tell you something about that. We don't know what Pat Mahomes is, and looking at that Kansas City Chiefs defense, they can't stop a nosebleed. So I'm going to go with the quarterback, Phillip Rivers. I trust him. Skill position players, Keenan Allen, I like that. Antonio Gates is back. We'll see what happens.
Antonio Gates is back.
Antonio Gates is back. They lost Hunter Henry in the offseason, so they had to bring back a tight end that he trusts. Antonio Gates can be a red zone threat. He still knows how to play football. But in looking at their defense, I like that group. Derwin James, I think, is going to be a star at safety. And you got arguably the best pass rush tandem in the league.
And did you say you don't know what Pat Mahomes can do?
We don't know.
Chuck that sucker deep, man. That's what Pat Mahomes can do.
He can also throw interceptions. See the preseason game against the Falcons.
I'm not worried about that. Interceptions overrated.
All right. We will end with America's Game of the Week on Fox. Cowboys and Panthers. Dak Prescott's lack of weapons could hinder him in Week 1, while Cam Newton looks to start the next chapter of his career in Season 8. So who wins this? The Cowboys or the Panthers? Chris Canny, take your pick.
I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys, and that's because I believe Ezekiel Elliott has got something to prove. He's the engine for that offense. He's going to make things a whole lot easier, and I think that Dallas Cowboys defense is really underrated. I'm looking at them as being a top 10 defense, and not just a defense that's a product of a really good offense playing keep away, but a defense that can actually be difference makers.
I agree with you entirely on the Cowboys defense. I think they're an underrated defense. I think they could have a top 6 or 7, front 7 of any team in the league. However, the way to beat Carolina this year, I believe, is through the air, vertically. Take advantage of the rookie corner they're starting. Take advantage of their safeties. I don't think Dallas can do that. I think Cam Newton is poised to have a very good year after an up and down year last year. And so I've got Carolina. I also think this is a game, though, that we could look back to near the end of the season. We talk about, they don't have the tiebreaker for the wild card because they these two teams, I think, will be fighting for that final wild card spot. So this could be an enormous Week 1 matchup.
All right, we got a break. Much more First Things First after this. Stay with us.